We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. Welcome to the November 7th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. A full house this morning. That's a good thing to see. My name is Shelley Bueller. I serve as chair of the commission alongside my colleagues, Commissioner Bob Archer and Commissioner Kevin Cook.
Good morning.
Good morning. Madam Clerk, the first item, please.
First item is proclamations, presentations. Number 1, update on Vallejo Behavioral Health Care.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for a few minutes on the slot and on the agenda, and for continuing to support behavioral health care. I want to note that Dick Klein, our governing board, one of our governing board members, is in the audience, a face well known to all.
Exactly.
And also want to deliver a compliment to the county election office. Went in there, 10 days ago, went very smooth. It was a large crowd and was very pleased with the process. So thank you. In terms of behavioral health, gosh, I really need trifocals, but I'm fighting every bit of aging I can. So let me. This is about right here. So we've presented on the austerity and opportunities plan that we have, and over the last 6 or 8 months, that continues to go real well. We found a way to trim well over $1 million out of our operations over about a 18-month period or so. I will say, largely on the backs of our employees who have been asked to take on additional work and that kind of thing, but everybody's really stepped up to the plate. And so we're just trying to proceed with everything we can, from buying natural gas in bulk. We found out we had enough square footage we could do that. The electronic mileage program we've reported on, a number of things. Some management positions that we found out, people were working, but we were able to reassign other management duties to current managers. And I think we took about 3 middle management slots offline, just as people retired or moved on or as we reorganized. But that's going real well, and a lot of that has been in personnel. You'll see that on the attached budget. I'm going to say something in excess of $700,000 under budget for personnel expense, which of course is our big one. And in a factory, it's machinery and all this, and as a large expense for us, our machinery is our people, and so they've all really stepped up to the plate. On the revenue side, we have found some new opportunities, a couple of grants from the state, large and small, another gift to help us, about $4,200 to help us do mental health first aid training, which I would take the opportunity to throw that out there. It's just an opportunity anytime. So I'll just go on with the grant writing and the fundraising. We're very active there, and Tom Searage continues to be really busy in that area. We're conducting our annual governing board and employee giving campaign right now. We have called together sort of the larger health agencies in the county to talk about a number of issues like emergency rooms, behavioral health, and what can we do with clients who are in emergency, psychiatrically speaking. One of the things we've talked about is pain management, and what can we do and how can we study the availability of pain management resources for people who suffer chronic pain. It's a need area in the county, and we have all the answers. We don't have any money. So I'm not here today to ask for any. I'm just telling you that. And we are looking at possibly some grant support out there for that. And I'll post you on that just as soon as we find out. But it wouldn't be to operate the program, it'd be to study and kind of find out what's out there. But we do want to make sure that people who seek pain management care, a number of those people have behavioral health problems as well, and other kinds of concerns, that they can do so in a safe and effective manner. I just want to call your attention to our Creations of Hope Art Gallery at Yeldarb. If you've been down there to see that, it's just an awesome place. We're going to be the tenants of the first floor starting in January, although not a lot will change. The private artists and who currently occupy space on the first floor and display their works all the time, we're going to have an ongoing partnership with them to support their work, as well as the work of our clients who are recovering, who display their art. So any chance you get any opportunity you get to go to the Yeldarb Gallery, just encourage you to do that. We think that art is going to be one way that people can understand mental illness. They can see it firsthand. They can talk to the artists and hear their stories of recovery and how amazing all of that is. And we also think it's going to be a great way to reduce stigma. Every governing board I've worked for, every county commission I've encountered, the legislator I've worked with over the year, everyone are interested in reducing the stigma and fear around mental illness. And we just think as the art gallery is just a great way to do that. It's kind of where the public can come in and see for themselves what recovery can really mean to somebody. We are working on a pilot project with the state to take patients out of the state hospital. And we've been doing that for a long time, 4 or 5 decades. But these are some individuals who need a place to live. Maybe they're waiting on a guardian. Maybe they need a nursing home placement. And there are just very few residential facilities in the state of Kansas. So the state approached us a couple of months ago, and we're engaging in a pilot project with them to take a few folks and give them a place to live and some supervision and continue their treatment at home. These are basically people that are done with their treatment at the state hospital, don't need that level of care anymore, but there's nowhere to go. So we're providing that service. Psychiatric coverage, we are looking at increasing that just a bit and are talking to a couple of physicians about working a day or two a week. Medicaid managed care continues to present to us an administrative and cost burden, and managed care is here to stay. It works, but there is a cost burden that we're not reimbursed for, and I'm not here to ask for any support. I just want you to be aware that's one of our ongoing challenges. There are days when one staff person spends an entire day talking to a managed care company about payments and treatment plans and so forth. Some of these phone calls on one individual can last 30 and 40 minutes, all to negotiate some continued service. It's just one tiny example of kind of increased accountability, utilization management review that we're undergoing, and it's true for every Medicaid provider. So just want to keep you posted on that. Planning, the board did adopt a strategic plan, and it covers the next few years to our best guess. We talk about revenue streams, we talk about public relations, we talk about government relations, and what we can do to just keep raising the profile of mental health, and I think our overall arching goal is to attack stigma and make sure that the public safety net stayed intact for people who need that. With that, I'll just refer you to the unaudited financial report as of September 30, and we are ahead by $58,000 and change, which is just about enough to run the mental health center for a day, but every day is a gift. And we're just glad to see some numbers that aren't in brackets or don't have negative signs in front of them. Having said that, November and December tend to be pretty slow for us, just illness, weather, vacation, all kinds of things that affect a lot of businesses, the healthcare businesses. Haven't seen the October numbers yet. It's a little too early, and if there's a big plus or a big minus there, I'll get that over to you, even though it's not kind of a scheduled report, just so you can kind of keep abreast. But I think because of the cuts we've made, the new opportunities we've sought for new revenues, we have managed to hold our own so far. So I'll stop there, take questions.
Thanks, Bill. Again, thank you for sharing with us every quarter, but also sharing with the public, putting it in our packet, getting that word out. That's very much appreciated. Other questions?
No, I thank you a bunch for these new grants, new opportunities, new programming that we're doing in the community.
I should have pointed out the memo on the third page. I double-sided that and didn't take a peek at it there. But yeah, we have listed for you a list of the grants that mainly Tom Searage and Stacy and some of the others are working on down there. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a sustaining effort.
I just wanted to say thank you for your leadership in very difficult times. It's certainly recognized and certainly appreciated.
No.
Thank you for the report. Thank you, Bill.
Well, it's good to come here and feel the support. Thank you. Take care.
And thanks, Mr. Klein, for being here as well. Appreciate it. Next item, please.
Item 2, unfinished business. Number 1, update on Shawnee County Emergency Communications Center.
Good morning, Commission. Herman Jones, Sheriff, Shawnee County.
Morning.
This is, as we have agreed upon, or just given an update on our process and things that have been going on with our Emergency Communications Center there. Over the time, there's been some great collaboration, some great discussion, and some movement on some things just to make some more efficiency in our communications center there. First off, I give kudos to all of our users there, our management board users there, from the police department to the fire department to our fire districts and all the others that have been working together for this. We all seem focused to improving on our emergency communication center there. So some of the things that have gone on, obviously, just if we address some of the things that came from Mr. Colson's letter there, it was basically 3 different topics there. One was just looking at a different venue of having someone come in of a civilian status there. So we're in the process of doing that, working with the PD, with a position description for that right there. I give a lot of kudos to our HR director. He's been working diligently, working with us and trying to come to some type of a decent position description, as well as salaries and those type of things right there. Part of that also is that we'll work with our other partners so that they can have that input as well. So it's not just one-sided, and that's what we want to agree upon. So we're working with that or so, and we'll be getting that out as soon as possible. So one of the other items there when we were looking at of working with our partners there is of just having some concerns about how calls are disseminated out and how that goes along with that. We've invited our partners to have individuals come in to oversee what's going on the inside so they can help out with those. One is, I guess one consternation that comes from some of our players, our users, is that we have someone that is a communication specialist triaging or making a call of who to send and when to send and those type of things right there. So to alleviate that, we've invited those other players to come in. The Fire Department has put in someone there that can monitor and oversee some of those type of things right there. And we leave that open. We want that to happen. As a matter of fact, part of our, and I'll get to this a little bit later on, but part of the training program, not only just for ourselves, for our communication specialists, but also for our end users. So for the police department, do something very similar to what we do with our dispatchers. We have them go out and ride along with the police department and the fire department so they can kind of see a different perspective so they understand when they're sitting behind that console, they know what's going on. But we've also invited that for those other end users to have their new recruits and employees to come in and sit and dispatch as well so you can understand. That way we have 2 ways of perspective of what's going on for our emergency communications. So we've pushed that out there as well. One other item that we're talking about when we're talking of enhancing our staffing numbers right there. We've been able to improve on our numbers simply because of those that have been in the hiring process have now been able to push out to a point where they are they can operate the console on their own, and by doing that, we have more personnel. Our largest call load generally happens on a second shift, generally, like 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and those type of things. And for that, then, particularly one of our larger end users is the police department. So they have a lot of traffic volume that goes along with that. And what we try to do is allocate someone to what we call the teletype or the informational channel. That way an officer can get off of the main line radio traffic and then make the request for wants and warrants and those types of things, and when they're not clogging up the main channel there. So we've seen some progress in doing that as well. As far as our recruitment and our hiring process there, we're still ongoing, obviously, with Washburn Tech. We're seeing to the point where it started in August. We're going to be coming up for the semester of the individuals there. It seems like they're very successful with that. We do know that one individual has decided that he does not want to go in communications, but wants to go into emergency responding as a firefighter, is what he's indicated there. So he did the course basically to have a better understanding. Kind of very similar to what I talked about of having individuals come in and sit down with communication. This individual was taking it on himself to get a different perspective so that he can do his job a little bit better and have a better understanding of what goes on when he's talking on the radio and those type of things right there. So with any of those type of things of our applicants have gone up. For efficiencies, what we've done, what as staff has done, is to have basically a meeting with all the applicants that are fresh and new so that they fully understand. Basically, it's an informational meeting. You sit down for a couple hours and just explain a little more in detail what a communication specialist position entails. So give them the information, have them go in, sit, and see what's going on right there. And so from that point is kind of the intro. And if they want to further the application, now we're being more efficient of those that are that are really interested versus someone goes through the whole process and realize they're not really interested in that. So we're trying to work through some efficiencies of what we're doing with that or so, and that's really in part by our dedicated staff that we have right there. One also is our collaboration and our discussions that we have with our other management board meetings, members there. We've had some meetings over the last couple of weeks or so. As of last Friday, we had one. And we're just trying to iron out and hammer through the true focus of the management board. If I can go back to a few meetings ago, we talked about how when the county commission expanded our radio system, and it was very detailed, and our outgoing counselor there was heavily involved with that as a representative of the county. But for that, then, we met every week to work through those details. And in that process, what we saw was the management board kind of migrated more to the technical side and to the hands-on, day-to-day operations right there. So from what we're seeing right now today is we need to get away from that, and management needs to be have a larger viewpoint of the radio system, and for that then push that to another group, a user group, if you will, or a more technical group that deals with the day in, day out right there. So our staff has met with those end users that come in so we can formulate those type of things. That's ongoing, but at the same time, part of the things that come along with that is when we talk about complaints that come in, whether not necessarily from the community, but also within the law enforcement and first responder community. You have certain issues that come up right there. To actually have a format where we can definitely address that in the end users so we don't get to a point where it festers up to something of a big balloon that we pop. We want to deal with this on the front end. So that's what we're working on with that or so. As well, all the members that are involved in that, from the police department, from the fire department, the fire districts there, having a plan, basically analysis what we want to do. Just have our own analysis of how are we doing, what are we doing, can we do anything better? Obviously we can, but have that. So we're having that discussion, and by that then, when our interim director, communication director was up here, was talked about having pretty much I'm trying to think the word of it, it's a charter, if you will. It's put everybody out there so we all understand, we're all going in the same direction, and we take these as a plan, such as if we're going to deal with personnel, this is what we're going to have, this is what we go with. Everybody signs up on that, and we move forward with that. So we're all collectively and not separated and those type of things right there. So it's pretty much an ongoing product. It's fluid. But what I see so much of any and all this is that we've had a lot of input from our players there. It's not just coming out of the Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. It's the Shawnee County radio system there that we're working with. So that's where we are right there. There's still a lot of things to go. I still have some meetings. As a matter of fact, when I leave from here, I've got a meeting with the interim fire chief. I've got something set up. I got to set up something with the city manager as well to follow up on some things going on like that. So a lot of meetings going on. It's not stagnant, and we're constantly moving. So, any questions?
Thank you, Sheriff. Any questions from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Sheriff, when we met about a month ago, we talked about there being 29 openings, 22 filled positions, 6 of those being conditional, waiting on, and we talked about staffing, improving our numbers. Where do we stand today? Do we still have the 29 openings, or do we lower that number?
Of that 6 there, I think we just had 1, maybe 2 that have just been released on their own, so that adds for those right there. When I was talking about the informational, that process that we have, we've got so many, I know there were, let me back up. In that informational, applicants, there are probably about 34 applicants out there. And from that, And the informational meeting, the people that were actually able to show up was about 11. About another fourth of those couldn't because of obligations, but they're going to come back. We're going to have another one right there. So it's in that process of what we have right there. The others that have been in the training are still in the training. So they're on mark to be released probably within another month or so. So we're filling those seats. And at the same time, when we have those positions that are not even filled, meaning this applicant pool we were looking for, we're looking for that right there. And also working with Director Kroll on how we can, if we can expand some positions or so. So we've been working with that as well.
But 29 openings still remain?
Yes, 29 positions.
So there hasn't been any changes to that number?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's, again,
Sure.
we talk about our staffing improving. We've got some people that are more qualified to go out on their own, but as far as our openings, we still have the same number of openings as we did a month ago.
That's the whole process. Just, it takes a long time to get individuals in, and we have those processes still open. We can have the opens, we still got to get the people to apply and put them in there.
All right, thank you.
Sheriff, how long is the probation period then once somebody is working at
It's
a
6 months.
6 months?
Yep.
Commissioner Archer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Sheriff, for reporting to the public. I think that's important. You've gone over a lot of things this morning. Is there documentation? I mean, I was trying to make notes and everything, but is there documentation, action plans? You talked about a charter. Are these things available? For example, a lot of times before an agenda is posted, documentation will be provided so we can review it, ask questions if we have questions. And I would appreciate if you can do that in the future. But
Sure.
is there documentation that we can look at?
Yeah, and as matters, as you say this right here, the last meeting that we had of the management board right there
Right.
wasn't able to be approved because we didn't have the quorum to approve those right there. So,
Okay.
so the information goes out, has to be at least reviewed so that when we bring it to the meeting, just like any others, so you can approve that. At the time of the last meeting, we didn't have the quorum, so we have that. We'll get the information on that. And as well as the charter, that's because it's still fluid, and we're trying to get that. Once we get that finalized and all the members right there, you'll see that, see what we want.
Okay.
Okay?
My only thought is that the commission and the public has a tremendous interest in this. And so any documentation, any signs of progress in solving the problem, I think would be very welcome to us.
Yeah, we have every intent to do that. You
Okay.
bet.
Thanks, Sheriff. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sheriff, when's the next management board meeting?
I believe it's going to be, I didn't see, 2nd of December right there, but we probably can have another one within a shorter period of time. We're coming up on the holidays and those type of
Right.
things, so we'll have that before, so.
And I know there's meetings taking place in between
Mhm.
the management meeting.
Right.
I'm just thinking for another update to have significant time
Sure.
to put together the documentation and everything. The 28th is, the 21st is 2 weeks, but we are not in session. So is the 28th, that's before the management meeting. Would you
We could
prefer?
probably have something, this being, we'll get some, we'll have a meeting. We'll have a meeting beforehand, so we can get that squared away.
So maybe we can have just some progress by
Sure.
the 28th
Oh,
of
yeah.
November?
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
Okay. All right.
Madam Chair, before we go,
Yes.
Sheriff, as we come back on the 28th, if we could address dispatch fatigue, our dispatchers, if we're not having a change in our active numbers of the dispatchers, that was a key component, was dispatcher fatigue and how we're addressing that fatigue with our policies and our new Director of Communications.
Right, okay. Yeah, and that, along with that, when we add the people and they're pushed out to those, it cuts down on those. You're right.
Great, thank you. Anyone else wanting to speak on this item at this time? Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There's just one item on the consent agenda. Questions on that item?
I would move for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
So motion by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Item 4, new business. A, county clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Madam Chair, this morning we have one voucher report dated November the 3rd, 2016. Total amount of vouchers, $1,021,095.44. Significant items on the report include $496,000 for payroll expense and $430,000 for health insurance administration. I've reviewed the vouchers and will make a motion to approve.
Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, there are no correction orders. Item B, emergency management. Number 1, consider approval of the hazardous materials response plan.
Morning, Commissioners. Nelson Castile, Emergency Management. This was on the agenda last Thursday for review. It's about the end of the first phase of 3 phases that we're looking at here for hazardous materials in Shawnee County. We had a contractor, Middleton Associates International, write the plan for us. We disseminated several drafts to the public, to the responders, also to all of those entities in Shawnee County that have extremely hazardous substances, which is part of what the HAZMAT plan is to work on for mitigation, response, recovery, and preparedness and training. This is the last step of the first phase where we approve the plan. The plan will then be disseminated this afternoon at 4 p.m. along with the request for proposals for a large set of exercises and training. And so this is the end of phase 1, starting phase 2 now, where we get the contractor to do the training and exercises, and then the final phase will be next September when we wrap everything up and we have several after-action reports to focus on for the future and also look at future exercises and training.
Thanks, Nelson. And just something that has happened recently up in Atchison with Midwest Grain and the emergency they had up there. I mean,
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is why we have this plan. This is why we practice.
Yes,
Do those
this is
exercises.
exactly it.
Commissioners, any questions?
No, no questions.
Anyone in the audience wanting to speak on this item? All right. I will move approval of the plan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, consider appointment of Sandy Siebert to the Ambulance Advisory Board as St. Francis Health's representative, filling an unexpired term ending June 11th, 2018.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nelson Castile, Ambulance Compliance Officer. St. Francis Hospital asked that Ms. Siebert be put in place of Paul Levens, who has served for the last 4.5 years on the board. And the resolution that explains the process is also attached to your memorandum there.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
I'll move to approve the appointment.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Commissioners.
Item C, Health Department. Number 1, consider approval to create and fill an intermittent breastfeeding peer counselor position at a total cost of $10,565.
Good morning, Commissioners. Linda Oaks from the Health Department. This position is part of the Women, Infant, Children, the WIC program. We currently have one breastfeeding peer counselor, and in our allocation that you approved with the contract a couple weeks ago, we were given the funds to expand to another breastfeeding peer counselor. Excuse me. In the past, we have had 2, and we were down to 1, and we're ready to expand that program again. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Linda. Other questions or motion?
I would move to approve.
It's a motion by Commissioner Cook,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Number 2, consider approval to fill one office assistant 2 position and any subsequent positions that result from filling this position at a total cost of $37,928, including benefits.
Morning, Commissioners. Allison Alejos, Health Department. We're requesting permission to fill this Office Assistant 2 position that's in the Family Health Division. We have somebody in there that is leaving for personal reasons, but we really need the position. It is one that provides clerical assistance at a pretty significant amount of time for not only the maternal and child health program, the Nurse Family Partnership Program, and the FEMA infant mortality review program. There are several things that this individual will be doing. They monitor and enter data into different management systems. They've got databases that helps document progress and people that we're serving. They do meeting minutes. They also manage those calls that come in when folks are out in the field. So we would request permission to fill the position. It is funded by the Maternal and Child Health Block Grant, and as was stated earlier, $37,928 is the cost of this position with benefits included.
Thanks, Allison. Other questions?
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook. I'll second. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Item D, Human Resources. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-328, 2016 with Delta Dental, increasing the administration rate from $3.35 to $3.40 per subscriber per month.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crow, Human Resources Director. Both of these items under the HR outlined today involve benefits contracts that we offer to employees. This first contract is simply an administration rate addendum for our Delta Dental plan. There have been no proposed changes in the plan. The plan will be the same as it was in 2016. Simply a one-year change in the administration rate from $3.35 per employee per month to $3.40. And this was an expected increase.
All right, thanks, Jim. Any questions on the contract?
Move to approve.
There's a motion by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Number 2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-329, 2016 with Surrency Life and Health Vision Insurance, offering optional vision insurance with guaranteed rates from 2017 through 2019.
There's not a lot more I can add to that. This is our vision. The rates stay the same for our employees and for us, and for 2016 we'll carry forward.
Thank you. I'll move to approve the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jim.
Item E, Administrative Services. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-330, 2016, engagement letter with RSM US LLP to perform the audit for Shawnee County for the year ending December 31st, 2016 at a cost of $88,860 plus a 5% fee for administrative expenses.
Excuse me, good morning, Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. In September, you awarded the bid for the 2016 audit to RSM US LLP. This engagement letter finalizes that arrangement with RSM for the 2016 audit. This engagement letter has been reviewed by the Counselor's Office, and I ask for your approval.
Thank you, Benny. Questions? I'll move approval of the contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thanks, Betty.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Justin Gregory, Kansas Expo Center. Just giving you a brief update on the rodeo we held last weekend. Despite the 70-degree weather, we had a phenomenal turnout on Saturday night. It was standing room only. The contestants were happy. The crowd was pleased. They've also left with a 3-year commitment to come back to the Kansas Expo Center in Dover Arena. And they are very excited about the upcoming renovations to the equine facilities and are willing to assist in any way they can as far as advice, different ideas. Changing speeds a little bit on horsepower. I have a special guest with me here today. I'd like to introduce Mr. Sam Williams out of Lincoln, Nebraska with Ultimate Derby.
Good morning, Commissioners. Appreciate the time. Again, my name is Sam Williams. I'm with Ultimate Derby. We put on arena demolition derbies and county fair demolition derbies all over the country. And it's kind of, I'll give you a little bit of history of the sport. H.R. Cook's trying to get me to come to this meeting. He always wants me to come the Monday after the event. And it's a rough week, and so I apologize for not being able to be here in the last 7 years. But when kind of sounds bad, doesn't it? I apologize. But I can't thank the city of Topeka enough for the support. We started this up in Nebraska, putting on these indoor shows, and we just could not find a facility that would work for us. And so we looked at 23 different facilities before we found Topeka. In fact, the Kemper Arena in Kansas City set us here. And they said, would you consider Topeka? They've got a fantastic facility. It was kind of funny when I first met with HR. He said, you can't afford to be in this building, and demolition derby it doesn't fit in this building. And I said, give us a shot, and let's see what happens. And so after the first night of the event, after looking up and seeing 400 people in the stands, we knew that we were kind of in a little bit of trouble. But SMG management stepped up completely, and they have helped us build this event. Over the last 7 years, this event has become what they consider the world's best demolition derby. You'll have 6,500 people come from out of town to Topeka over the next week. It's kind of funny to watch my Facebook drivers have already left California, they've left Canada, they're already making their journey down here. And so you'll have, of those 6,500 drivers that come, over 70% of them come from over 8 hours away. So this has become a destination event for the demolition derby world. And some of the things that the county has done to help us with this is to put in the exhaust fans at the arena has been huge. We've looked at arenas all over America trying to find other events that we can build, and the air exchange rate at most facilities is over 30 minutes. So from the time that everything stops moving to exchange every bit of air is over 30 minutes. We're here in less than 10. And so, I mean, it is a phenomenal deal. We can have the worst catastrophe of smoke in the middle of the arena, and it's gone in minutes. So for the safety of the community and the safety of the drivers, everybody loves Topeka and the Kansas Expo Center. So what to expect for this week? We will start events. We'll have events Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, and Sunday. This is turned into just over 3,800 to 4,000 room nights that we will sell here in Topeka, where the economic impact will be between $3.5 million and $4 million over this week. So again, the one thing that we did this year is we hired a marketing company here who markets our entire company. Alan Coleman Marketing here at Topeka is our new marketing company for us corporately. They brought to us SLI, nonprofit here in town. It's a 45-year-old company that has been doing nonprofit here in town. They help serve the intellectual disabilities. And so what's great about that is we do raffles throughout our events, and so a large portion of that raffle this year is not going to us corporately or anything like that. It is purely going to benefit a demolition derby family of a young lady who suffered with MD, and the remaining proceeds will all go to SLI and stay here in the community. So it's something new we're doing this year, and we're giving back to Topeka a little bit. And the future of this event is, it's kind of interesting when you talk to different big promoters and different things that we've done a lot of investigating on. When your event hits 80%, you start looking for a bigger facility. We will completely sell out Friday night. We'll completely sell out Saturday night. Last year we turned 1,000 people away at the door. But because of the partnership that we have with SMG Management and Topeka is the reason that we stay here. So I just want to say thank you. And again, we're building other events, but the Blizzard Bash, the November show, will stay here. Visit Topeka came to us about a year ago this time and said, hey, we have potential of losing some other economic contributors to the community. Would you consider putting another event in here? So they gave us some back of the room night tax. HR Cook put that together with Visit Topeka. And so that event is already the 6th largest event in its first year. It's already a contracted event through 17. It'll be here in March. And so we expect it to be in the top 4 events in the country here this next year. So it's continuing to grow as well. So that event should bring another probably about 1,800 to 2,500 room nights as well. So overall, it'll be about 5,500 room nights we do here in 17. So just want to say thank you, and we appreciate all the support.
You're welcome anytime. Don't wait so long to come back.
I apologize.
Thanks for the information. Commissioners, you have anything
Thank
else?
you. Look forward to it.
Morning, Commissioners. Tom Black, Public Works, Solid Waste. Just want to see if I can catch a few more people this week for solid waste schedules, if you're just at the beginning of it. With it being Veterans Day, and again, not many people oftentimes thinking Veterans Day as a holiday or a county holiday. Our collection schedule is today. There is no change for our Monday customers. Starting tomorrow, we are going to be collecting for Tuesday and Wednesday customers. So everyone's going to be moved up a week. On Wednesday, we will collect our Thursday customers, and then on Thursday, we will collect our Friday customers, and then Friday, there will be no collection. So it's just reiterating what I had said last week, but now that we're into it and everybody's moving up a day, we just want to see if we can catch a few more, be aware of it. That's fine here.
Good,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Tom. While Jeff's coming up to the podium, I'll just use the time. Election Commissioner wanted me to announce that advanced voting ends at noon today, so on this election eve, yeah, that's important. Jeff?
Commissioners, Jeff Shawnee, Kansas Expo Center. I just want to thank you for all the support you gave me. It wasn't intentionally for me to move on this quickly because I was very excited about everything, but some things happen. It's all positive, but I really appreciate your support. When I say I mean we at the Kansas Expo Center. Keep it going. It's very exciting. I like to be able to see and look at, be part of something, part of the Renaissance. So,
Good,
thank you very much.
Jeff, good luck to you.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best. Hold on, you're not going to
Oh.
get off that easy. No, just your excitement, your enthusiasm, very much appreciated. We do. I wish you all the best, and I'm sure the commissioners do too. Anything you want to add?
Really, just the commitment from day one. I mean,
Yeah.
as many people don't know, Jeff bought a house here in Topeka. He contributed to the community, started the Third Thursday events, started breathing new life into the facility and reintroducing the Expo Center to the community. Hosting the free concert this summer with Monsters of Mock, and again, trying to bring people back and reintroduce the Expo Center. That's everything we could have asked out of a director. And so we're very sad to see you go, but thank you for everything you've done in such a short time.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, we are sad to see you go, and you have brought a lot of good things to the Expo Center. Reintroducing to the community, I think, was number one. But I've got to say, anyone moving to Florida in November is not a real bad idea. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good luck.
Thank you,
Keep
and
in touch.
I'm available anyway. Anything, feel free to call me. I really feel part of it, and I'm excited to be able to watch it happen.
Good to know.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Anyone else with administrative communications? Okay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Larry Marsh, Shawnee County Treasurer. Just a quick note, hope to start mailing tax statements this week. If all goes well, you should see those in your mail by late this week or early next week. And the first reminder of many that I will issue, the first half is due December the 20th, as usual.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Ben?
Good morning, Commissioners. Barry Beagle, Shawnee County Planning Department. With your permission, what I'd like to do is give you an update with regard to our comprehensive planning process, as well as the most recent event that we held, public open houses. So if that's okay, I'd like to do that.
Sure.
All right.
Is this something too, Barry, that you have this posted on your website as well, correct? Is this something would
Yes.
It's a lot of
We are
information.
getting that information added to the website, so
Do
the
you-
public will be able to get access to that same information.
Should we go ahead and put it on an agenda
An agenda.
item? If that's something, I don't know how much time you have this morning
I
for the
was hoping maybe
presentation.
just take 10 minutes or less to kind of go through this, so.
But
I
there
think
may
it
be
might-
people that want to attend to see this information and not know that it's on for today. That's
Okay, can
my
we go ahead
thought.
Yeah.
let's do that. Know that in preparation for when this, if we could put it on for Thursday, Jane, Thursday, 15th? That work?
That work.
Okay. But there has been a good amount of activity with the comprehensive plan. Go on the website, prep for the meeting, and then that week we can have a full discussion.
That sounds good.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else for administrative communications? Commissioners, just a reminder, we do have a JADO media bus tour scheduled for Wednesday from 4 to 8, and I believe the press release went out for that the end of last week. So hopefully you got that, Jim, and everybody else. Okay. Anything Anything else? Commissioners?
Go ahead.
I was just going to encourage everybody to vote and then say a small silent prayer of thanks that the election is finally over. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, just take a moment and thank Melissa Jarbo for everything that she does in the community. The weekend was the Salute Our Heroes Parade. It was very well attended. It was a good parade, and a lot of people were participants. Very smooth transition. It was just a well-executed from beginning to end. Also, Saturday night was the 4-H Achievement ceremony. A lot of young people that work very hard in the community work with the Expo Center and everything they do with the fair. And so just a lot of kids that come to the close of the 2016 year and as they get ready for the 2017 year. So, thank you.
Very good. And Rich, Mr. Eckert, I know it's not until November 30th that's your last day in office, but it's going to be really weird to not have you sitting there. It's just going to be very strange. So I just had to say something in acknowledgement.
I would like to say that I'm not quitting to go be with Jeff Chabon. He's a beautiful man. I am staying here to be.
Very good, very good. Yes. Oh, today, 1999
Yes.
was when you first started with the county. Wow.
The reporter who sat next to me was a lot prettier than the one who told me.
She later became your wife, correct? Yes.
He actually was an assistant county counselor before he actually did that.
That's true, that's true. All right. All right. Next item, please.
Executive sessions.
And there is a need for an executive session today for purposes of matters of non-elected personnel and in consultation with an attorney for the body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship for a period of, I'm going to start with 20 minutes because I know we have a Board of Health meeting after this, but that would be my motion for 20 minutes of executive session.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
He tells tall tales.
We're gonna get one of Locke's, trash trucks.
Ready? Okay, we are back in session, no action required. We are adjourned. Board of Health meeting to follow. We'll sign